Madera Companies, welcome back to another Touch Base episode. Our podcast today is going to have, there's several of us around the table. We've actually never had 4 people around the table, but we're going to try this out. It's going to be a lot of fun. With me today, I have Jacob Lopez, our Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Madera Residential. That's a very long title. You guys have the best titles, okay? Let me keep going here. I've got Alee McNeese, and she is the Director of Portfolio Management. And then we have Lissi Daniels, the much shorter title, Director of Leasing. So, hey, I'm glad to have you here. For those of you who don't know, Lissi's in from Dallas with us.
Yeah.
So it's great to have you guys.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so welcome to Touch Base. It's good to have you guys here.
Yeah, it's good
So let's kind of go around the table, kind of get a feel for who you guys are, tell us a little bit about yourselves, and so we'll kind of go around this way. So Jacob, why don't you go first? Tell us kind of about you, how you got to the Madera Companies, anything else you want to give us?
So been working at Madera for the last, year?
Almost 2, well,
is it 2
year and a
years?
half, yeah, about a year and a half.
I was going to say a year and a half, but
I feel like it's 2.
it's flown. But obviously got started in the midst of COVID, so that was kind of an interesting way to transition to the company. I think we spent the first couple of months at home during that time, but ended up kind of transitioning into the company because of the start. I think we slowly got to get familiar with all the players in the company. I mean, it wasn't like your traditional startup where you go and you meet everybody.
Yeah.
It took us several months before we actually got started, but had worked a lot in telecom. Also had some real estate. I did some time with Trammell Crow in my past, but most recently was in telecom and was very familiar with the Dave Gillis and John McNally's of the world, and that's kind of how we got our introduction to Madera to begin with. But I've got a family, got 2 kids, a boy and a girl, 14 and 8, and they're great. So they keep me busy, and it's just that's in a nutshell pretty much me.
Very cool, very cool. Alee?
And the best wife. He's got the best wife.
Yes.
I'm going to save him on that and tell you that he's got an amazing wife.
Very cool, very cool. All right, Alee, and clearly you two know each other and have a past, so tell us a little bit, how did you get here?
We came over as a package deal, I feel like. So I... same as a lot of folks, came over from the telecom world, actually worked for John McNally for years in marketing. I've always been in marketing in some form or fashion. I even say when I was waiting tables in college, it was some form of marketing.
No doubt.
You're marketing their products and presenting them. So, that's kind of where I came from. The telecom world, worked there 12 years, I think, or 11, somewhere around there. Had worked for John for a long time, left, and then went back to work for Jacob. And then we came over to Madera. It's been a really cool transition. I was thinking about this as we were talking about coming over, and you know how people say, if you do what you love, then you'll never have to work a day in your life. I really think that you can change that and say no matter what you do, if you do it with people that you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how hard we're working or what we're doing, if it's telecom, if it's multifamily, as long as you're doing it and you're down there in the trenches with people that you love and that care about you, you're good. Yeah. And so I've loved it. Came over and just got to continue to be with my family, really, my work family.
Yep, very cool, very cool. And now, Lissi, tell us a little about you.
Yeah, so I'm the only one in Dallas, but I love it. But I actually came on board through Casey, so doing the operation side of things. And I've been here with Madera almost 2 years, and I think it's flown by really much. But I have an 18-year-old. He's in college, freshman year. So just kind of dealing with the perks of that. He goes to OSU, sorry, Texas Tech.
Yeah.
We like OSU.
But yeah, I absolutely love what I do, and I am just thankful to be a part of a great team.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't even mention my kids. I probably shouldn't do that.
If they see the podcast, they'll be heard. If they don't, they won't care.
Right?
I do have 4 kiddos. I have a soon-to-be 17-year-old, soon-to-be 15-year-old, soon-to-be 13-year-old and a newly 3-year-old. So
Wow.
All who are super busy and running around. We live in Littlefield, and my husband is the head baseball coach and is the assistant superintendent. So we're always running from one place to another. So if you see me walking around in a Littlefield shirt, it's because I have to go from work to my other job as a sports mom. So I didn't want to not give my kids a plug.
Yes. Yep.
Hey, you got to plug in your kids.
That's right.
I get it. Okay, so we have basically the leadership here of the Madera Residential marketing department. And so talk me through what you guys do and talk me through kind of how you guys overlap with various departments and those types of things, and just kind of give us a good general feel here before we kind of jump into some of the other stuff.
Okay, I'll start and I'll give a real general answer to that, and I'll allow Alee and Lissi to kind of delve into their areas. But in a nutshell, we have great products. We have great apartments that we invest in, and we do a lot to improve them, to make them even better, and we do a great job of running them from an operations standpoint. So at the end of the day, it's a great place to be. It's a great place to live, and we feel like that is our mission, is to make sure we're representing that, and making sure that we are getting people who are looking for somewhere to live into one of our apartment complexes. And in a nutshell, that's our objective. And we do that through marketing, which is really making sure that we represent those properties in the best light possible. We do that through our leasing support and Lissi, who is helping our teams out there, ensuring that we're from a person-to-person interaction standpoint, representing our properties in the best way possible. And of course, applying some sales skills along with that. But that's basically our objective, and obviously it's, that sounds very simple, but there's actually a lot of details and a lot of resources that we try to tap into to make that happen every day. And it's not something that you set it and forget it. In our world, things sometimes work, sometimes they don't work, and we're continually having to evaluate what's the best way to go about it.
So talk to me about the various departments that you guys get a chance to work with, and how your stuff overlaps, how you may help them, those types of things.
I think one of the departments that I overlap with a lot is Quext, our sister company. We oversee the rollouts of both their telecom products, so an internet and TV product that they roll out of a lot of our properties. But we also overlap a lot just with operations, right? I mean, because they are our feet on the ground. They're the ones who are seeing our customers every day. So we talk to managers every single day about different things they have going on. I know Lissi is a little bit more, she talks with the managers, talks with the leasing agents, has, a little bit more interaction there. But, we're always involved with what's going on at the properties. We rely, I think, as much on them as they do on us as a support team. We really need, to know that we're doing the latest and greatest with everything with them. And as they are making these, renovations, and they're making these improvements, and they have really cool things going on at their property, we have to work closely with them in, order to make sure that we're capturing that and we're putting their best foot forward. We also work a lot with asset management, both in the takeovers of properties, and then also in any kind of brand creation. They're involved in that as well. And so we work really closely with that department. Really, pretty much every department, that is in Madera or Quext, we work with them. Everybody needs marketing. Everybody needs promotion. So, that's really what we're here to do, is support them and make them successful.
You mentioned operations a little bit. Lissi, I'd love for you to kind of talk a little bit about like how your job overlaps with these departments and what you do, especially for the on-site staff.
Yeah, definitely. So I get the opportunity to be our leasing support. I always say I'm their cheerleader, right? The motivation, hoorah, girl, right? I absolutely love to get the opportunity to have sales calls. I get to see them in person. I get to create just anything to help them with their goals and their initiatives and their drives, and ultimately just help them succeed, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I get to do with the operations, and I'm like always on the foot. So I say I'm on the ground always. I get to speak to leasing, I speak to assistant managers, I speak to managers. So I get the whole spectrum, but also helping when marketing and setting up everything. I get to come in. It's like, okay, now let's close those deals and drive it. So.
Yeah, I like it. Let's get some specifics going here, because I know you guys do a lot of various things when it comes to digital based things that you're doing. You talked about how you market stuff and how you capture it. You use your language, and then I know we're using the various applications for on-site staff to make certain that they can keep up with all the information. So take us into the weeds a little bit here with like what you're doing from a digital perspective and various tools.
I mean, we obviously all have a responsibility to our investors, right? We were trying to make our properties as profitable as possible.
Sure.
And that entails for us making sure that we are trying to run marketing as efficiently as possible. So it's not just throwing something at a property and assuming that it's gonna work. We certainly have our go-tos, but everything has to be evaluated, and we do that through our metrics, right? We do that through our reporting numbers, and they kind of give us an idea of whether something is working or not. And if it's not, it's really our obligation to kind of make a switch, or perhaps just save the investment. And so we do that on almost a daily basis.
I'll say, if you will, elaborate on that for me a little bit. Like when you talk metrics, what are y'all looking for that kind of gives you okay, this is working or this isn't? And just, you don't have to go too crazy, but just give me something that kind of shows.
We partner with a company called Funnel.
Okay.
That provides a software. Actually, the company is Nestio. The product is actually Funnel, and Funnel helps us aggregate traffic.
Okay.
And so everybody who is, for example, if we're placing a digital listing with one of our ILS partners, Funnel has integrated with that partner and is able to track whether a prospect is interested in that particular ILS. So for every single subscription that we place with an ILS, we have it going through Funnel. Funnel tells us which ILSs are actually getting the most traffic from a prospect perspective. So we look at that, and we also look at things like how many of those leads, if you will, are actually turning into leases. And so through that, it's pretty good reporting. It comes in daily. We're able to tell which ILSs are the most beneficial to us from day to day. And like Alee said, it changes. It's not the same for every property. Some ILSs work great for some properties, and then they don't work great for other properties. So without those type of metrics to look at, we would never know. So it's very helpful, and it's very crucial to what we do.
And I think Funnel is great as well, because we manage content through Funnel. So we load all of our photos into Funnels, so we control all that. And so it doesn't matter if you're going into an apartments.com listing, to a rent.com listing, to a Zumper.com, to a Zillow.com, wherever you're going and looking, you will see the same. There's that standard, and I think that consistency in marketing is important, that branding is important. So that's another really cool function, I think, of Funnel that it's allowed us to have. And then once all of those get in there and you're able to see the guest cards and see the leads, then
that comes me.
Then comes Leasing.
So show, take us there then. How does that work?
Once all that comes in, I look and manage the performance side of it.
Okay.
How are teams performing in Funnel? How are they engaging? How are they building that rapport with the clients and the leads that are coming through, and making sure, and then I reach out to teams to make sure they're giving that ultimate leasing experience and providing that great customer service to the product. And so that's what I daily look through. So Funnel it's such a great product to use, but it's such a great for our on-site teams as well.
So when we talk about the on-site staffs and we talk about the properties or whatever, like and then even just your department in marketing, where are you guys seeing growth, places for us to grow as not just necessarily a company, but also within your marketing department? What things are you wanting to offer in the future and do for your people and the different groups you get to work with? What do you see with that?
One, we're working on a new website. Obviously, the Quex team is hard at that. But with that comes new things we can do. We can do a new site map that's actually digitally integrated and with NewCo and is able to provide real-time data to a prospect who's looking at it, and they're able to see from the site map, this particular unit is vacant or not vacant. We have other tools that'll allow a prospect to actually go in and view the actual unit that's vacant. And this is all, almost real time. These are things obviously that we have to get updated, but as soon as we get them updated at the local level, you're giving a prospect a look at a unit that's actually vacant and can be theirs.
Awesome.
And those are all innovations that we have come across lately. And it's a good example of what we have to do, really, to ensure that we're staying relevant and representing ourselves as best as possible. But that to me is a huge opportunity. It's something that we will continue to look for different ways to innovate and really leverage those partners out there that are doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I think it really frees up time. So I know that a lot of our folks are spending time giving tours to folks, and we love that, right? We want people to come in and see the properties. But there's also probably some wasted time, some time that could be spent, better spent working on something else when they knew they didn't want to be by the pool and that's all we have, or they knew they didn't want to be by a busy highway and that's all we had. I think that it really is making things more efficient for our on-site teams as well, and I know we've heard a lot of them say that they're excited about some of those. We're always, and that was really just a conversation, the tours is a conversation I had just from looking around and seeing what other folks were doing and had a conversation with this company. So we're always looking. We're always looking for the next cool thing where we can help our properties.
I think there's some cool things there too, and we've talked about this a little bit in a few of the previous podcasts, but helping our on-site staffs with the tours that are available through technology and different things outside of the normal office hour, and just being able to sell that, to sell that unit at 10 o'clock at night to a person when there's not necessarily office hours open. The other thing too, and there's some cool stuff with that, I think for a lot of people who are possibly potential residents for us, they think, okay, apartments, cookie cutter, like they all kind of look the same, but the idea that you're giving them a real-time insight into a unit that could be theirs takes it from being a cookie cutter model to that could be my home.
Yeah.
Right.
I can picture myself in that.
And ultimately that's what you want. You want them to be able to picture themselves.
And giving them an opportunity to apply. As soon as they see it, say, hey, I want to apply.
Yeah, right on those tours.
Yeah.
There's an apply now button.
That's what we're working towards, and it's things like that we've got to continue to try as a group to try to elevate our game.
Yeah, I like it. There's a lot of neat stuff there. So talk me through, and again, we always want to do this. We want to make sure we do this on a regular basis. I want you to do a couple things here as we kind of finish up. I want to give you a chance to champion your team, but I also want to give you a chance to champion the on-site property staff, because we all know, you said boots on the ground, but like they're the face, they're the ones that make, you guys sell it and make it nice and pretty, and then at the same time, they're the ones who make it livable and enjoyable for the next 12 months of their life, and hopefully much longer than that. So maybe, Lissi, I'll start with you because you get a chance to work with on-site staff, but talk to me about like how great they are and how hard they work.
Oh my gosh, I can probably go on for days and talk about our on-site teams. They work extremely hard, and getting the opportunity to be able to just talk to them in person and have these calls, you build a relationship, right? And I can tell how hard they work, how motivated they are, and how they just want to succeed. But ultimately, it's just having the support from corporate, and having someone to be there and talk to and say, you know what, I have challenges, or you know what, I had a positive this week. And I love hearing those stories. I can never get enough of those. So I champion all of our on-sites because they try and they work extremely hard at what they do. Yeah.
Now talk about like y'all's team a little bit, right? Because this isn't everybody. You've got more. So I don't know, Jacob,
So our team is actually a small team. So we have the key players here. Obviously, we mentioned Erin Frankenhaus, who also helps us quite a bit on the Madera side. She wears 2 hats, and the other hat is obviously Quex, but the Madera hat usually is involved in something we're doing. So we appreciate her a bunch. We also have Lauren Cruz, who I think you've had on a podcast before. She's a key player for us.
She's done a testimony for us. We have her out everywhere recruiting to us.
She's great, and she's been here. She's the veteran of our group, and so she brings a lot of value to our group as well. We also have 2 great interns, and we've been very fortunate with our interns, and they do a lot to help us, and in many ways don't act as an intern, in that they're contributing to our efforts on a daily basis.
Which is the best type of intern to have,
right?
The one that actually is like, here's a job, you can go do it.
We have great interns. Madison Taylor has been with us. She's more of a veteran than any of us. She's been here quite some time as well, and she's great. We've loved having her, and she does not in any way, shape, or form act as an intern. She jumps right in and helps, and has made great relationships with the property staff, and really is just, when Lauren and I are running around crazy trying to get things done for this, that, and the other, she like grounds us. Like, she's like, hey, did y'all think about this? Or, hey, did y'all think about that? We're like, no. She's like, I already did it. I mean, it's just great. And then we have Caden Lynch that came on as an intern not long ago, but Caden is the same way. He's very eager. He's excited to learn, and just excited to help with anything he can, and you love that out of an intern, right?
Exactly
because it's
right.
not always the case. And really, I feel, speaking to Lauren's been here and has done, we laugh that she's done every job in Madera, but Lauren is the glue, right? Lauren really keeps us all honest, keeps us all sane, because she always knows the answer. So if we are running around trying to figure out like who, what, where, Lauren has the answer.
Yeah.
So we definitely could not do it without her, and she does a great job, and we just have a great team dynamic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have, I don't want to say we have the best team, but I feel like we have the best team.
I feel like you should say that, right?
Yeah,
Like, you should be like, this is the best team.
I don't want to brag, but I feel like we have the best team.
Yeah, I think you can say that. You're supposed to like your people. That's the way
that's
that
right.
works.
I think it's important to say we absolutely do a lot to look at what's best for our properties, but most of what we do, we rely heavily on operations, right? Ultimately, they're the feet on the ground. They're the ones that are hearing feedback, and they're great to work with. They do a lot to help direct our efforts, and we look at them in a lot of our decision making to ensure that we're doing the right things.
Yeah.
So they're great partners. Casey and Katie obviously are awesome, and we speak to them almost daily. But I wanted to mention that because an important part of what we do, it's not in a vacuum. If we're doing what we're doing and we're doing it right, we're in constant communication with that group.
Yeah.
And so wanted to make sure I pointed that out.
Yeah, no, our on-site staffs are awesome, and I think Casey and Katie do such a great job of all the things that they work with, and so.
And none of us would be here if it wasn't for them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
right. That's right.
I mean, none of us would be here having this discussion if it wasn't for their hard work. So we are here, and we are a team that was formed to support them. Really, that's what we're here to do. And I always say that, but I hope they truly feel like that. Like, we are here to be their support team.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming in from Dallas. Thank you for being a part of this.
I get to come to Lubbock.
Yeah.
By the time this gets out, Thanksgiving will be over. But I hope you each have a great Thanksgiving. Madera family, thank you guys so much for being here. We'll have another podcast for you in the near future. Have a good day.